We're going to be going in just a few minutes to Jakari Jackson, who's with the INFOWARS crew on the West Coast in California at the beach where they found high levels of radioactive readings there. We ought to ask the local media why they aren't reporting this. As Alex was just saying, we're going places where the local media fears to tread, where they won't report on this. How many puff pieces for the people in San Francisco, how many puff pieces have you seen on the local news? But they're not interested when somebody finds a 500% increase in radiation or when they see a 1,400% increase in radiation. What our crew is seeing out there right now is a 1,000% increase in radiation. So you have the local official go out there and said, yeah, that's right, it is 500%. It's probably just disposable eating utensils. Are you serious? I mean, if they were that radioactive, do you think that they would allow them to be sold? We just saw an article from Vienna, Austria, that the police there went to they called a hazmat group on the dumpster because they saw high radioactive reading there, and it turned out that it was just waste from the hospital. They know what's out there. They're just not telling us because it doesn't fit their agenda. They're saying that they don't want to panic us, but they certainly will panic us over things that are not dangerous. They'll take away our fireplaces, our wood stoves over particulate matter when it's not really a threat. They will do all kinds of things in the name of global warming. They'll try to scare us to death over global warming when there's no data showing that that's happening. So we sent our crew out there to see what the readings actually are, because the national media is not reporting on this. The local media is not reporting on this. The government doesn't care. So we want you to see what's going on. We see that there's stuff out there that is lowering IQ that they're putting into the water, like fluoride, and there are things that can raise your IQ, like iodine, nascent iodine, can raise the IQ of kids who take that, especially the younger children. It has a positive influence on their IQ, just like fluoride has a negative influence on that. There are things that you can do that will help your family as you try to then move the government to do the right thing, to get them to stop putting fluoride in the water, to get the government to report and try to find the sources of this radiation. They're not even interested in looking at it. Whether or not it's from Fukushima, it still concerns people. It still should concern people. It's still a danger to people when you see these kind of increases in radiation. So right now we're going to join Jakari Jackson in California. Jakari, what are you guys seeing now? Where are you right now?
Well, we've come down from the bluffs where we were earlier, so now we're going to get down low to the ground with these Geiger counters. You have to get down low to the ground, so we're going to drop a little bit, and you can also see camera the radiation levels here. So, and remember,
you're taking a reading?
Yeah,
it's breaking up a little bit.
Sorry, are we breaking up?
Yeah.
Yes, we have a reading of 148. They're saying what's normal for this area is about 30. So we have higher level. We're going to move right now. And once again, we have to keep low to the ground to get an accurate reading. We have about 170, 174, 172.
There we go. We've got a split screen for the people who aren't watching this. We've got one camera on the Geiger counter. The other one is showing where Jakari is in relationship to the ground. They're walking along, taking readings.
Yes, we got 176, 180. So it looks like they're increasing here. 188, 200. We've hit 200. So let's move up here. 214, 210.
Now, he's walking as he's taking these measurements. So this is not something that is one particular isolated spot that maybe we get a high reading on. It's escalated across the beach. Is what you're seeing here as Jakari is walking across the beach.
Yes, and we're having various readings here, 200 plus, 220. And remember, local media is saying 30 is what's normal, so about 212 right now. So very high readings. Whatever it is, whether it's cesium-137 or if it's other things like radium, it's high, it's in excess of what should actually be out here, David.
Well, and you know, Jakari, as we were just saying, it doesn't have to be from Fukushima to be harmful. I mean, radiation, high levels of radiation, whether it's from a natural source like radon or whether it is something like radium. We saw that at McClellan Air Force Base, the Air Force there decided, over the objections of the local government as well as the state government of California, they decided to go ahead and bury a massive amount of radium-contaminated soil into the ground, where it's going to leach into the water supply. And, of course, this stuff is cumulative. That's one of the reasons why we tell people to protect themselves with iodine, because one of the first places that that's going to have an effect is in your thyroid. Your thyroid is going to soak that up. Thyroid cancer is one of the things that really spikes after radiation exposure. So when you take potassium iodide in an emergency, what it does is it fills up your thyroid to try to keep your thyroid from taking in the more radioactive elements. And so you can do that for an emergency with potassium iodide, but that's not really a supplement. That's not really a good form of iodine for you. You wouldn't want to take that on a daily basis. But if you get something that is a pure source of iodine, like Nascent Iodine, Survival Shield, that's something you can take to help your family, to help children with IQ points. It's something that is a positive influence. It's a supplement that we no longer have in what we normally eat. And what are you saying right now? You're saying 242. That's really high.
242. Now we're going to turn around and go towards the water now.
Okay.
So, David, we're heading here towards the water. We're seeing 200 plus pretty much the whole time we've been down here. 210 right now. Once again, trying to get low to the ground to get some accurate readings here. So we got 182. So just for people to know, this isn't just in one area. We're moving across the beach.
Yes. Yeah,
you can see these high radiation levels.
You can see the camera, for those of you who are watching, we've got one camera focused on the Geiger counter. The other one is focused on Jakari. And you can see that they're walking, and as they're walking, they're taking these radiation levels, and there should be 30 CPM, is what they're saying is normal now.
Yeah, right now it's about 82.
Okay, so it's actually going down as you're getting closer to the water.
Water, yes.
But it was very high up at the beach, so that may indicate that it is some kind of radioactive dump that's up there, as opposed to something that's coming in off of the water as it's going down.
Yes, and as we were talking to one of the locals, I'm not sure if I mentioned this earlier, but she was telling us that out here somewhere there were a lot of waste barrels that were dumped, and she thinks that that's what may be leaching into the water. And whether it's that, whether it's Fukushima, whether it's radium or whatever else, you know, these levels are excessively high.
Yeah, exactly. And it's interesting that what started this really was this 500% reading that an individual did, and then put the video up on YouTube, and it went viral. And everybody was asking, well, why isn't the city concerned about it? Why aren't they doing anything about it? And so then we had an engineer who actually works for a company that builds Geiger counters, and he went out and looked at it, and he saw an even higher level. He saw a 1,400% increase. So he was very concerned about it. And what he saw was not any cesium-137, which would indicate it's coming from Fukushima, but he saw radium and thorium in the sand there. So either way, it's something people should be concerned about. Now, you're seeing lower levels. You're seeing more like the regular background levels now. You're seeing 30 to 50.
Up here against some rocks. I'm seeing about 50s right now.
Okay.
Watch out for all these rocks out here.
Jakari is moving around the beach, and he's taking readings so we can see how the levels are going. Now, further up, when you were up away from the water, that was where you saw the highest readings. And
we were hitting about 270, 280.
Yeah.
And say 30 is what's normal. And David, you know, there's so many things going on, whether it's, as Paul was talking about, the starfish melting or the bald eagles getting tumors, the conjoined whales and whatever. We can't say all that is directly related to Fukushima, but somebody should be taking a look at these things. What is causing this? Yes,
exactly. We see that happening all across the Pacific Ocean. And as Paul mentioned, there was one fellow who wrote an article about his 3,000-mile trip. This is somebody who had done this before, going from Japan to California. He took a 3,000 nautical mile trip, and he wrote an article, "The Ocean is Dying." He said he saw, usually he would see abundant evidence of sea life. He could just drop his net into the ocean, and he would catch a lot of fish, but he said he didn't see anything when he was coming across except some diseased whale that he saw. He's pretty much, in his opinion, the Pacific Ocean between Japan and California was essentially dead.
That's right. Now, Dave, we're hitting about 98, close to 100. Oh, okay, over 100 now, and they're saying that 30 is the normal level. And, you know, we talked to a few people who were aware of the situation. We'll put those reports out later. One person said he wasn't aware, but he was very much concerned. And he, you know, was of the opinion that whatever it was, whether it's Fukushima, whether it's radium, whatever it is, you know, it's excessively high, and he's concerned for his family.
Now, to be clear, where you are right now is Half Moon Bay in California, right? That's just outside of San Francisco,
yeah,
is that correct?
This is about southwest of San Francisco, and this is Surface Beach, as the locals call it here. Maybe we can pan around and give them a shot of the water here, guys. So we're real close to the water here. We're
looking at that on the map now, and here's the beach where they are. Now, you're going to be heading up
the same beach, David. I'll just interrupt you for one moment. This is the same beach where the gentleman came out here with his Geiger counter and started the whole deal. Now, our next mission, we're going to be moving all the way up the coast, all the way up to Washington. So we'll stop at various fisheries, other beaches, and so forth, and we're going to do a lot of this stuff, get as in-depth as we can, and also talk to locals and see what they think is causing these reactions.
Okay, that's great. Well, thank you, Jakari. I think the people there at Half Moon Bay in that area, the people of San Francisco, they need to be concerned about this. They need to get some answers, some logical answers from their local government there, not just this ridiculous excuse that it's probably disposable eating utensils. That's just, there is a real issue there up in the sand, away from the water. They're seeing consistently high levels of radiation as they move around. And we'll be joining Jakari. They're going to be doing this for about a week, going up and down the West Coast. They're going to go all the way up to Seattle, and then they're going to go down to Southern California. And at the bottom of the hour, we're going to be talking to Anthony Gucciardi about what his take on Fukushima. We've seen a lot of things happen. He called up and asked the government about their 14 million purchases, 14 million units of potassium iodide that they purchased, and they want that in just 30 days. That was a story that Paul Joseph Watson broke when he looked through fedbiz.op. And, of course, when Anthony called up the government and talked to them about that, they were dodging and weaving, and eventually they just hung up on him. So we're going to have Anthony give us his take on what's going on after talking to that fellow and what he sees happening as we see events across the Pacific Ocean. And again, it's ultimately up to you to first take care of your family, take care of yourself, and then try to get the government to take care of the community at large. Ask some questions.
The facts are in. The studies are legion. Sodium fluoride and other members of the fluorine family that are added to Western water supplies are devastating the health and cognitive ability of the people that drink it. So the question is, why are the social engineers adding it to the water? Simple. Dumb down the host population that the parasitic technocracy is feeding on. We developed Fluoride Shield to be the highest quality, highest standards, because I use it every day and my family uses it every single day. Let's take a closer look at the ingredients that make up this special proprietary formula. Tamarind has been celebrated for its ability to immobilize toxic fluoride residues, while zeolites have a long history of attracting and holding toxic compounds. Enter fulvic acid, an excellent cleansing agent. Then we added the highest quality shilajit, a rare compound that is collected from the high mountains of the Himalayas. We topped it all off with the powerhouse herb cilantro that is intended to mobilize fluoride and other dangerous compounds for removal from the body. And the final touch to energize this formula is our proprietary Nascent iodine. And as always, consult your physician as well, because that is important. And finally, Fluoride Shield, Survival Shield, and all the products at InfoWarsLife.com grew out of my quest to try to find the very best compounds from God's cornucopia to protect myself and my family. And from our research, I believe we are bringing you the best, highest quality products. And you have that commitment from Alex Jones and the entire InfoWars crew.